who's actually going to get the most out of an HP ScanJet Enterprise Flow 7000 S3, and who would be better off putting their money into a different kind of scanner? Is the price justified for a typical office that just needs to digitize invoices, contracts, and occasional multi-page reports, or does it belong in a high-volume document center where every second counts? Those are the questions that keep most buyers up at night, especially when the market is flooded with everything from tiny desktop feeders to massive production line machines. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the kind of day-to-day reality you'll face with this unit, the hidden trade-offs you might not see in the spec sheet, and ultimately whether the value it promises actually lines up with the price tag. First off, the Flow 7000 S3 is marketed as an enterprise-grade sheet feed scanner that can handle up to 80 pages in its automatic document feeder, ADF. In a small to medium business, that translates into being able to set a stack of client contracts on the tray, press scan, and walk away while the machine does a full duplex pass both sides of each page in a single go. For anyone who still spends half the day manually flipping pages or scanning one side at a time, that time saving is tangible. The one-pass duplex capability also means you won't end up with mismatched front and back images that need reordering later, a common headache when you're processing legal documents that must stay in perfect sequence. But the real question is, how often will you actually fill that 80-page feeder? If you run a law firm that receives dozens of signed agreements each week, the answer is probably a lot. If you're a freelance graphic designer who only needs to scan a few proof sheets every month, you'll rarely see the ADF's capacity being used, and the higher price point may feel unnecessary. In practice, the machine shines when you have a steady flow of mixed media stacks. Think a combination of paper invoices, glossy brochures, and even cardstock business cards. The Flow 7000 S3 advertises that it can handle those mixed media types without choking, and in real-world office setups that flexibility reduces the need for a second, specialized scanner for glossy or heavier stock. The design is surprisingly compact for a device that can ingest 80 pages. It fits under a typical desk or against a wall without demanding a dedicated rack space. That's a win for firms that have limited floor real estate but still need a scanner that won't look out of place. The slim profile also means you can keep the unit on the same desk as your computer, which cuts down on cable clutter and makes it easier to manage the workflow from a single workstation. On the software side, HP bundles a web-based admin console, HP Web JIT Admin, that lets you monitor device health, see scan statistics, and even push firmware updates remotely. For an IT admin juggling multiple scanners across different offices, that central dashboard can shave minutes if not hours off routine maintenance. It also provides a way to see if a particular scanner is underutilized, helping you justify the investment or reallocate resources. Now let's talk about the practical downsides that often get glossed over. First, the up to 150 IPP black and white throughput sounds impressive, but that figure assumes an uninterrupted, perfectly clean stack of standard office paper. In reality, if you feed a pile that includes torn edges, staples, or varying paper weights, the actual speed drops noticeably. The feeder is designed to handle mixed media, but it still has limits. You'll occasionally hear a jam or a misfeed when the tray is overloaded with thick cardstock. Those interruptions can be frustrating if you're on a tight deadline, and you'll need to spend a few extra seconds clearing the jam and repositioning the stack. Another point to consider is the learning curve associated with the HP Web JIT Admin interface. While powerful, the dashboard isn't exactly plug-and-play for someone who's never dealt with networked scanning equipment. You'll likely need to spend an hour or two reading the quick start guide and perhaps watching a tutorial video to get the remote monitoring working smoothly. For a solo operator who just wants to scan a few pages and hit save, that overhead may feel like unnecessary bureaucracy. The price tag reflects the enterprise positioning, and that's where the value debate really settles in. If you compare this unit to a consumer-grade scanner that costs half as much but only supports single-sided scanning and a 20-page feeder, the Flow 7000 S3 is clearly overkill for occasional use. However, if you factor in the hidden cost of employee time saved, say, A junior admin who would otherwise spend 15 minutes per batch of 40 pages manually handling each sheet. The ROI starts to look more attractive. In a busy accounting department that processes hundreds of invoices daily, the reduction in manual handling can translate into a measurable productivity boost that justifies the upfront expense. So, who should buy it? The sweet spot is small to medium enterprises that have a consistent flow of multi-page, double-sided documents and need a reliable, network-ready scanner that can sit in a modest office space. Legal.